Welcome to the CoolLED tutorial video for NIS Elements. In this video, we'll be showing you how to set up the CoolLED pE-4000 in NIS Elements. First of all, you'll need to ensure that you have the CoolLED drivers downloaded from the CoolLED website. These can be found by heading to Support and then Imaging Software. Then click on Downloaded here. Once the CoolLED drivers have finished downloading, you can then save them to a memorable location such as your desktop. Now that the drivers have been successfully downloaded, you can connect your CoolLED pE-4000 to your computer via the USB port. Once connected, head to Device Manager to ensure that the device is being correctly recognized. You'll find the CoolLED light source under the Ports section. Make a note of the COM port that the light source is connected to, in this case COM5 and COM6. If it is not displaying as the CoolLED light source, you may need to right-click and select Update Driver. Then point the computer to the place in which you previously saved the drivers. If this is the first time that you have used the pE-4000 with NIS Elements, then you will need to modify the setup of NIS Elements. In order to do so, select Add or Remove Programs. You will then need to find NIS Elements and select Modify. This will then take you through the installation wizard where you will need to add the CoolLED light source. Ensure that Modify is selected. Click Next. None of your existing setup should need changing unless you have added or removed any other devices. Once you get to the Devices menu, click on CoolLED and then select CoolLED pE-4000. Then click Next, and the installation is complete. You are now ready to open NIS Elements. For this example, we will be using a camera simulator. To set up the device, first head to Devices and Device Manager. You will then need to add the CoolLED pE-4000. Select the correct COM port, as noted earlier in Device Manager. Either will work. Then click Connect. You can see here that the pE-4000 is correctly connected. You can then close this box. You will then notice that the pE-4000 has been added to your toolbar. This button here simply functions as a shutter. This wheel here gives you slightly more control over the pE-4000. Here you can select whether the wavelength is on or off, and the intensity. You'll then need to click this button for the light source to turn on, and the selected wavelengths will illuminate. As each channel in the 4000 has 4 available LEDs, you may find that you want to change these wavelengths. In order to do so, you can click Configure and change the LED that is available in each channel. Then select OK, and you will see that they have changed here. In order to run an experiment, you will need to set up some defined illumination settings. In order to do so, select Calibration and New Optical Configuration. Here you can type in the name of your illumination setting. For this example, we will use DAPI. Using the pod of the pE-4000, I will then select the wavelength that we want to illuminate at. For this example, we will use 385. I will ensure that any other wavelengths have been deselected. I will change the name here by clicking in the box, and I will select the active shutter as pE-4000. You can see here that channel 1 set to 385 is now on and all of the others are off. Here is where you can also adjust the intensity using the pod. Once you are happy with the setup, then select Finish. You will see that a DAPI tab appears in the toolbar. You can select DAPI and then use the shutter button to turn DAPI on and off. You can then add another by again clicking Calibration and New Optical Configuration. Here we will go for GFP. We will select the 470 on the pod, adjust the intensity to the desired intensity, and deselect the 385. You will see here that the colour in the box automatically changes, and the active shutter has remained the same from the previous settings. You can then select Finish, and a GFP button will appear. You can then use these channels as part of your multidimensional acquisition. In order to run an acquisition, you'll need to head to Application and define/run ND acquisition. Select lambda and add the desired wavelengths, being sure to remove any old settings. You can then select the time points for your experiment, and once you are happy with everything, you can then click Run Now. You are now ready to run your experiments. Once you have finished your experiment, you can simply then close NIS Elements. You do not need to worry about saving your configuration. These settings will automatically load when you reopen NIS Elements. Thank you for watching this CoolLED tutorial video. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to get in touch.